Our next guest might look familiar to people who followed the city of Chicago's bid for the 2016 Summer Olympics.
He's Tom Tresser. He led a group called No Game Chicago. He appeared at forums and protests across the city, arguing Chicago could not afford the Olympic Games and that the city had not been upfront with residents about the impact the Olympics would have on Chicago. He even went to Copenhagen to lobby the IOC before they voted last fall.
Now he says he wants to take on corruption and waste on the Cook County Board. Tom Tresser is the Green Party candidate for County Board President. And Tom, welcome to Fox Chicago Sunday.
Thanks for having me.
You brought a little reading material with you.
Yes,
Tell us what that is.
I did. I hope it doesn't crack your anchor table here. What these are reprints from the local papers just documenting corruption in local government just after the last 3 years.
What's the point?
The point is we want to physically show the readers and the viewers out there that your local government is corrupt and incompetent, and you need to fire the people who run it.
All right. Now, if I had a nickel for every politician who's told me that and that he's going to or she's going to go clean it up, I could retire.
You could.
I wouldn't be working on a Sunday morning. So tell me what you're going to do about it.
Right. Well, it's important to establish my credentials because, as you say, everyone's a reformer, right? But as you pointed out in your intro, I and the other volunteers for No Game Chicago took on the machine, the president, and Oprah over the Olympic Games. And we were right. The people of Vancouver, which just had the Winter Games, are $1.5 billion in debt. The London Games are $9 billion over.
We didn't get the Olympics.
All right.
So tell me, what are we going to... But we do have corruption.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do
All right,
about it?
just to make the point that we're kind of fearless in telling the truth when it needs to be told. All right. In the next administration, if I were to be elected Cook County Board President, we would do what's called a forensic audit. A forensic audit is...
Just heard about that.
A lot of that going around.
Well, for those of you who have, unfortunately, have had a divorce situation, well, maybe your spouse has hired a forensic auditor to find your assets. This is the kind of thing we're talking about. It's the skill you need to find mob money. In other words, where finances are intentionally obscured or hidden. That's the kind of audit we need on the county, because I don't believe the
What's your guesstimate about how much waste and fraud and corruption is out there in the Cook County budget? A dime on a dollar? A nickel?
It's probably a little more than that. It's according to the BGA, our good friend Andy Shaw, it's 10% of all spending in Illinois on the government is wasted. So that's $300 million for Cook County.
More to the point, though, the real instrument you have as county board president is hiring and firing. But you only have 500 Shackman-exempt jobs really under your control out of the 20,000-plus jobs at Cook County.
Right.
So how do you turn that battleship around with so few positions really that you can change?
Well, as I say, first is the power of the audit. Then there's a desk audit. So that's where we look at every single employee, starting with those 500.
But this takes months, even years.
Well, it's well worth it, though.
And let me stop you for a minute. The power of the audit. I mean, the forensic audit turns something up. You can go to the FBI, right?
Yeah.
I mean, their number's in the book.
Yeah.
All right. But you don't necessarily have the power to cancel a contract that Todd Stroger signed or to fire somebody who's now protected by Shackman. Be careful. Reformers have learned to be careful what they wish for.
Right.
Shackman's tied more hands. Harold Washington complained.
You know, Shackman is a funny thing. I want to take just an aside on that. Most people think when they hear Shackman decree, they might think that they're actually looking out for us and are good cops to keep the...
He's made a lot of legal fees.
Right, but unfortunately, what I've learned is when the Shackman process uncovers a bad hire, that is to say someone who's gotten a job illegally or improperly, and a review is done, the bad hire stays in place. The person who is aggrieved gets paid.
Yeah, because Mr. Shackman's, I'm not one of his fan club.
All right, so I'm just saying.
So what are you going to do? He ties your hands, others tie your hands?
Here's my message to the good employees of Cook County. If you're doing a good job and you're there properly and you're qualified for the job, you have nothing to fear. But if our audit process catches you, we'll prosecute.
So what do you do about the last half cent of the sales tax increase?
Well, I'm going to muster the votes from the council. We have people who are ready to listen.
It's already there. The votes are there already.
The second half, yeah.
Yeah, the second half.
I will move to put that in my first day in office and take that tax back.
All right, we only have a few seconds left. It sounds to me like you should be running for state's attorney with your forensic audit, calling prosecutors.
No, I'm committed to service. I think Cook County has been too long the stepchild to the Democratic machine, and we've lost sight that it could be a center for true excellence and justice to this county.
Right. Now, the mayor's brother runs. He's the finance committee chairman. Right. That's the real power center now in county government. You're not going to be able to bully him or to change his mind. Or how do you deal with John Daly and the others on the board who aren't necessarily part of your reforms?
Folks, we need a movement out there. He's right. It's not going to be done by me alone, but the voters in Cook County have to send a message to the power structure. If you vote for the Green Party candidates on your ticket, that will be the start. We'll have to do old-fashioned community organizing and put pressure on our representatives, including Mr. Daley, to do the right thing and eliminate corruption and bring service to the people of Cook County.
All right, Tom. Thanks for coming in.
You're welcome.
Good luck to
Thanks a
you.
lot.
Thanks.
We'll be right back.